Good morning, Wrestling Inc. It is Friday. Get up, get going. It is me, your managing editor of WrestlingInc.com, Nick Hausman, joined here as I am every Friday to have some fun. We're doing our dance.
Yes.
We're doing our dance. This is what you do.
We got energy today, people. I hope you're ready.
I think this is how you dance when you're in your 30s. I don't know.
When you have this much space.
Yeah, right? Ooh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, we're voguing. That's cool. That's very topical, right?
Podcast listeners, you are really missing out, I have to tell you. Sorry to tell you.
There's no RuPaul's Drag Race on right now. I feel like I'm used to on Fridays voguing for the Drag Race, but it's not going on right now.
Wow, I feel like there's so many spinoffs and so many seasons here and there that I can't believe it isn't airing right now. But good thing we have lots of fun wrestling shows to watch, Nick.
Oh, totally. Yeah, lots of fun wrestling shows. I don't know if you watched it yet or not. I woke up this morning and watched the FMW episode of Dark Side of the Ring. Oh. What a mess that thing was.
I thought you were going to say Roads to the Top, so I got excited. Yeah, the Dark Side of the Ring, it just sounded a little too dark for me last night at 10 p.m. So I haven't taken it in yet.
Man, okay. I grew up like I think the first wrestling book I ever read was Have a Nice Day by Mick Foley. And I read it when it was like released, which I think was like 2001, something like that. Like I got it right when it came out. And it messed with my head. Like I should not have read that book way too young. And so a lot of the stuff in the FMW Dark Side of the Ring, I was, getting a little nostalgic. Like, oh, wow, this is stuff I read about when I was a kid. And to kind of hear from the people involved. And it's a really sad, scary story FMW was last night, Christy.
Yeah. I choose and pick my times to watch things like that. So I'm going to keep that on my list for when I'm in a dark mood, Nick. Also, I would like to know how many accelerated reader points you got for Have a Nice Day. Did you guys have that at your school?
I don't think that I told my teachers I was reading that. And I've told Mick about this because I've had the pleasure of doing several shows now with Mick. When I was a kid, so I buy Mick's book. I'm fascinated by the book. The internet had just become a thing when I got this book. And I wound up going like down this rabbit hole of Mick Foley research. I wound up like printing off a bunch of like articles from websites and creating like my own other Mick Foley book of like, it was like an addendum to his book. It was like a binder filled with other stuff that wasn't in his book. God. All about Mick. That. I was so into Mick Foley. Is like you have like the fact that Mick and I I guess we're friends is really weird to me because I was a huge mark for Mick as a kid. But the worst thing I ever did that was inspired by Mick is it was WrestleMania 17, which was in Houston. I don't know why we weren't there. Maybe because I don't know. Maybe I was in trouble. But anyway, I was a bad. So I went over to my buddy Travis's place to watch WrestleMania. And I wanted to do something really dramatic like Mick because I was so inspired by all the deathmatch stuff. And I had seen all the thumbtack spots and stuff, but I couldn't find a bunch of thumbtacks. So I went out to my dad's workshop and I got a big bag of nails, like 6-inch nails, like big freaking nails. And we're watching WrestleMania, and then I think Mick's match or whatever was ever where there was like a moment or something like that. So I went over and I grabbed the backpack and I threw all these nails all over the ground. And my buddy Travis's mom like freaked out. She was like, "What the hell are you doing? You psychotic little 15-year-old. What are you doing right now?"
Oh, and then she attempted to vacuum them up and you had to buy her a new vacuum.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, see, we have Brian Bills here saying, by the way, chat room's open. If you want to jump in, chime along here. Y'all. My parents regretted buying me Have a Nice Day, Chaz show. I used Have a Nice Day for a school report. I love all of these. I love all Daniel Price. Foley and Funk blew each other up inside of barbed wire. You can't top that, Hausman. Not even if they gave you the key to an Ace Hardware.
Oh my God, Ace Hardware match. How has that never happened?
Yeah, you know what? Let's not put these ideas out into the world right now in the wake of the FMW episode. Charles Dowd. Mick Foley is the most wholesome deathmatch wrestler ever, and we don't deserve him. I agree, but Nick Gage, what a nice man. I mean, he's been to prison. He's a bank robber, right? But he's a very nice man, very progressive. He's a very wholesome deathmatch wrestler as well. Also, what is going on right now, Chris? Did you get your finger caught in your hair?
I get very excited while we're talking, Nick. Yes, and I did just get my very fake kind of gross fingernail stuck in my needs to be washed hair. So now you guys know what's really going on over here. It looks good, but
Wow. Okay. Well, what a great little rant to start the show here about deathmatch wrestling and FMW. Let's get into our show here today. Before we get to the news and the interview in the mailbag, we want to start by sending congratulations out to Toni Storm and Juice Robinson. They got engaged yesterday. The photo of Toni wearing her ring, kind of drunk on champagne on the ground, is maybe my favorite engagement photo of all time. Any thoughts on these two getting together?
Yes, well, that's exactly why I'm excited for whatever they come up with for an eventual ceremony. I cannot wait to see what kind of a wedding outfit, wedding gear Toni Storm is going to rock. And, she's kind of been through the ringer in this world of pro wrestling, and I just wish her all the best. Glad to see that she's finally found true love. And, yeah, that's going to be a fun one. I can't wait to see the pics.
Oh, man. I'm very interested, obviously, in her dress, but Juice Robinson, that man is about as flashy as it gets in professional wrestling. I can't wait to see what Juice is rocking as he walks down the aisle for that.
Yeah, dude.
So congratulations. By the way, that is the most trafficked item on Wrestling Inc. yesterday was this engagement. So I usually try to order the news by importance and, things like that. But for whatever reason, the thing that drove traffic the last 24 hours was these two getting engaged. I don't know if it's because there's been upset that Tony's off the market or if it's because it's an interpromotional relationship with Toni and Juice being in different companies. I don't know. I don't know why you all were.
Those used to be so much more scandalous than they are now, those intercompany relationships.
It's old hat now at this point,
We'll see, but so we know that Toni and Juice really want to get married. They're not just doing it so they don't get split up.
Hey, you know what?
Maybe
Juice is getting signed. They're like, Juice, we're going to make you a manager for Keith Lee. And, you got to travel with Toni now. So, all right. Well, Toni Storm, Juice Robinson, congratulations. Both wonderful people. Later on in the show, after the news block, you're going to get to hear, if you're in audio form, Scott Fishman's conversation with new Ring of Honor Women's Champion, Roxy. Right? Very cool. And if you're watching us in video form, that'll premiere on the Wrestling Inc. YouTube channel in about 50 minutes. So when we're done here, go wrap up and jump in the chat room, watch Roxy and Scott over there. Also, the mailbag will wrap up the show for everybody. We're going to look at the best heel, who you think the best heel in professional wrestling is at the moment, kind of spinning out of one of the topics we're going to talk about in the mailbag. And before we get to it, I guess I should say as well, I yesterday got the final confirmation. It's live. I announced it on Twitter and stuff. So this Monday night, I'm hosting this WWE Draft Party in Chicago, Replay Lincoln Park. It's free. There's no cover, free arcade games, free pinball, draft specials. Get it? WWE Draft. $2, $3 drafts. It's a draft on draft on draft. I'm drinking some water and some coffee, double dipping.
Getting ready.
So anyway, come on out. It starts at 7, but this thing is really cool because what I haven't been able to say is this is part of a national WWE draft party. There's going to be these draft parties in all these various cities. So Philly, you're getting 2 parties. Washington, D.C., you get 2 parties. New York is getting 3 parties. And I love hosting these parties. I've worked with the company that's doing them. They're very professional and stuff. I knew there was going to be other hosts and stuff. We get together for the Zoom meeting yesterday, and they bring us all up on screen. We're doing this Zoom, orientation or whatever before we all go host these parties. It's me. It's Sam Roberts. It's Chris Van Vliet. It's Peter Rosenberg. It was a lot of people I was not expecting to see hosting these parties. If they were in LA, it would have there's no LA party, but you'd have probably hosted that one.
I mean, I'm kind of wondering how I missed this bus now, but that sounds like a lot of fun. Can I virtually hang out at any of those parties? Is there an aspect like that?
Not as of yet, but you could just have your own party. You can just text me. I'll shoot you some photos.
That sounds great. I get really bad cases of FOMO, Nick, so I have to be involved.
Hey, and Daniel Price here saying if we all get drunk, no drafts, the actual draft might seem better. And hey, It's going to be a very exciting night 2 of the draft, and a couple drafts in your system that draft on draft action. That's going to maybe help things out.
Can't hurt.
They're sending me a ton of merchandise, so I'm giving it all away for free: hats, shirts, backpacks, coasters, draft mugs, whatever. Tons of free WWE merchandise this Monday night. Replay Lincoln Park. Come on out for it.
I do remember after the last draft seeing a lot of people rocking SmackDown and Raw t-shirts at the gym like years ago. So we're going to see those popping up everywhere now.
Probably. I'm going to make people take sides. I'm going to have tug of war. Your team Raw, your team SmackDown. Maybe we just have slap fights. Slap him in the face. Now you slap them in the face, right?
Oh, Nick's party is on, man.
Getting a little weird. And we have Rob Humphrey here saying, "Don't be a jerk, Nick. FaceTime Christy into the party." Well, maybe I will, right? I can do. All right. Well, anyway, come party with me in Chicago. All right, let's get to it here. News you can use. News will leave a bruise. Not so bruisey news here today to start us off. Showbuzz Daily saying AEW Dynamite did a 1.152 million viewers on TNT, down about 10% or 9.5% from last week's Grand Slam. Did a 0.45 in the 18 to 49, down 6.25 from the week before. Dynamite was number 1 again in the cable top 150. 6th week in a row. The drumbeat continues. This time, number 29 in overall viewership, down from number 22. It should be noted, Dynamite viewership is up 33% from the same week in 2020. 1 in 3 people have joined the party. The key demo, up 36.36% from the same week last year. And this wasn't in our story, but I saw this on Twitter, courtesy of David Meltzer of The Observer. Some more insight into the demo, that key 18 to 49 demo. He said that his big take is that 0.45 is a good number for that show with a normal lineup, right? There wasn't anything really, really big that was announced for the show. It was just a very well put together Dynamite. I thought it was paced well, whatever. So he's right about that. But the demo here is 74% male. And he's saying that's a bad skew because while they're number 1 in men 18 to 49, they are way behind with women. And he went on to say AEW is a great ad buy right now for companies targeting men 18 to 49. But the reality is, as has been explained, the very same reason men are up is also the reason women are very behind. You're a lady, you're a woman that watches AEW Dynamite. Do you see a product that is not catered to women, that is a very male-dominated show when you watch Dynamite?
Yes, but mostly only when I kind of look back at the last 6 months or so, I see what, can't believe I'm going to agree with him. I see what he's saying here. A lot less women's action, a lot less focus on the women. That's a big one, of course. Not only that, but just focus on the slimy guys doesn't do much for women either. We all love a heel. Guys love to go out there and boo somebody. I don't like to speak about women in generalizations like this. So yes, just myself. I like someone who I can relate to. I want to see a guy that I want to cheer for, who's hot, who's tall, who's more than 165 pounds. Okay. I think, yes, I will just keep talking for me because it's very rude of me to speak for all women. So
Sure.
For me, yes, I want to see more women's action and I want to see more men's action that is geared towards women. Tell us a story. I think widely women are more likely to be engrossed in a story that's going on than by how much blood is being shown on TV, which is where they're doing really well in that regard right now. You know what I mean? So yes, I definitely think that there isn't a lot that's being done to bring women in. And I hope that changes.
Yeah. And, we'll see. It's all about dollars making sense, right? If they can make more money, but if their idea is like, hey, we're doing a product that is testosterone driven, right? Like this is for guys, it's for young men. That's the direction we're going. I almost feel like they're going to kick it further into overdrive. What I worry about is like the way that the women get treated in an environment like that. I wonder what kind of role women begin to play in that universe if they begin to focus more.
What role do women even have there? Do we ever see any of they have 2 female announcer, interviewer, commentator, host, can do it all. We never see them. More of men all the time, men managers, men valets, men backstage, men on the mic, men announce, men everywhere.
Yeah.
And yeah, that is a different, wow, look at me, I'm getting all red, Nick. That is a certain kind of environment to work in. You're right.
It is weird to me that WWE has become like the default better option, I feel like, for a lot of women who watch professional wrestling right now, and for people of color. Like, my timeline has an absurd amount of tweets from wrestling fans that are people of color that are like, wow, AEW's most vanilla product I've ever seen. I watch Raw. You got Big E, Lashley, Roman Reigns, Bianca Belair, a much more friendly product towards people of color. And if you'd have told me 10 years ago, WWE is going to be the more progressive company, right, in what becomes a more cluttered field, I'd find that hard. I even find it hard to believe in this moment, Christy, right? Considering especially, you watch, Roads to the Top, which, by the way, we have their numbers in as well. We'll get to those in just a second. But Cody, I Solved Racism Rhodes. You would think their product would have a stronger draw for the categories we're talking about, but it really does. And I've been talking, it's like, it's angry young white men, I feel like, that are watching a lot of AEW. Again, if it works with money, great, but that's their demo right now.
Well, one of the things that we saw in Roads to the Top was that Brandy is focused on highlighting Black talent. And she's been a little busy lately, where these changes are really standing out glaringly to me in the last month or two. I have noticed it on the air, less women's action, less attention on women, etc. Black talent, same. Because it seemed like they were doing well in those areas. It seemed like they were at least trying or talking about trying in those areas. And now that we've seen on Roads to the Top, that's her focus. Perhaps now that she is back to work very soon, she can be the force that drives them back in the right direction as far as that goes. Because like you're saying, you can't believe you're sitting here saying that WWE is the better product as far as pushing talent of color. Well, we just know historically that, like, just everything we know, if WWE is doing that the best right now, it still isn't being done as well as it can, right?
Yeah. Well, and the thing with Roads to the Top too, Brandy, like you, and I wonder, because like, you're trying to, how reality shows, right? You try to craft a narrative, right? Like, it doesn't even have to be true. You're just trying to tell a story, right?
But she's been vocal also on social media about such things. And she had to take just a week or two. She had to take tweets or Instagrams. I'm sorry. She said something on social media about pushing Black talent. She had to delete it because of the vitriol that she gets. Remember when she had to delete her Twitter because everybody was coming at her with the N-word? Like, I feel she's being as loud as she can. And she's the only one there who's being loud about this.
Here, wait. Let me find the exact quote, because I think I have what Brandy said written down in one of my runs.
I'm sure I read it on wrestlinginc.com, Nick.
Yeah.
Even though I always keep abreast of Brandy's socials as well.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what exactly it was here.
The point you're going to make is that people came for her because of what she said or something. Brandy pissed everybody off.
Here we go.
Right?
Here we go. Yeah, exactly. 1 second. Here's what she wrote. She said, "This might start some shit, but let's talk. I see a lot of people complaining on here that there aren't enough Black talent featured in wrestling yet. When Black talent is out there busting it in main events and holding championships, where's the love? Am I just missing it?" And I would argue, yeah, you're missing it because they're showing that love to a different company. They're showing that love to WWE, not your product. And if what Brandy is saying, when we put Black wrestlers out there, nobody cares, so we stop putting Black wrestlers out there, that's a problem, Christy. And that's why she had to delete the tweet.
That's one way of interpreting it. AEW's had the same narrative for their women's division. They've had many male and female talent over there say, well, if you want to see more women, then make sure you watch, make sure you highlight it, make sure you support them. And you're right. It is a bit of a dangerous narrative, but what is Brandy supposed to say? You know what I mean? That's probably the frustration that she's met with behind the scenes is, well, that segment didn't do well last time. That person didn't pull it off last time. Whatever it is, she's behind the scenes taking it all in, and she's telling us that they're not seeing the support for this talent when they are given the opportunity. So as fans, I think we need to hear that as well, and not just crap on Brandi, because that's what everybody loves to do.
Well,
and take into what she's saying into some consideration.
We also had Brandi on Road to the Top repeatedly saying how she wants to win the AEW Women's Championship, and that would be insane, Christy. Why not? Because she can't wrestle.
Nick,
She's a horrible in-ring performer.
Does that not make her does her not having great in-ring skills not give her the opportunity to be a huge, major, great heel? Look at what Eva Marie is doing right now.
Hey, Christy, they've tried it. They've tried it several. She has gotten more opportunities than any other woman in AEW solely because of nepotism. These are not earned opportunities.
She has pulled those. She has done well in those opportunities. Everybody just craps on her because of who she is.
I have never seen a Brandi Rhodes segment that I enjoyed in AEW ever.
Really? Ever. When she interrupted Jade the first time Jade was out there, and everybody, all they could focus on was the fact that she'd used the B word, and they thought she sounded too ghetto. All of a sudden, Brandi's being too ghetto. It's everybody just ripping her apart like she could do no right.
I don't know. We can disagree on Brandi. It's not a deal breaker. It's not a deal breaker for our friendship. But
we're both still gonna watch Roads to the Top every single week, aren't we, Nick?
I don't know. I did watch the whole first episode all the way through, so I could give it a fair shake. Right. The 1 hour premiere, by the way, drew 422,000 viewers at 10 p.m. Eastern. It ranked number 16 for the night in the Tabletop 150 with a 0.17 key demo, and the premiere ranked number 84 in viewership for the night on cable. So, yeah, you think? I mean, top 20, cable top 150, strong start. You think here for the show?
Yeah, that is, if I'm not mistaken, that's on par with numbers that Total Bellas were doing at the end there. It is a little more. And even for a brand new show, for a show on cable at 10 p.m., for people that, when you look at what the audience size is for something like this, yes, they could appeal to the whole world. I think that this show really could be interesting to a lot of different kinds of people. But as far as your audience is really just those 1.1 million people that have been watching Dynamite, right? So the fact that they were able to pull a fraction of those, almost half, let's say, of the people who watch Dynamite every week, watch Roads to the Top, that's major. And when all the other fans who are cynical about it because of Total Divas and Total Bellas, and just because they like to hate on reality TV, when they find out that they are seeing real moments with talent like Ricky Starks being told that he's not going to be able to wrestle for 4 months because he has a broken neck, and watching how Cody and Tony Khan talk him down from that, seeing Brandi bring Jade and Red Velvet together after Jade slapping Red Velvet so hard we could all see what went down on TV, knowing what happened behind the scenes after that. When people find out that they're getting that from Roads to the Top, I think it's going to be the same exact viewership every single week as Dynamite or Rampage.
I don't know. Like, I think this, I mean, it's Christy, I don't know. I think there's I think obviously the premiere is usually like traditionally the highest rated show of many seasons, right? Even when it comes to Total Bellas and Total Divas, I don't really know that we see growth from here. Here's what my gut says, especially spinning out of the conversation we just had about Dynamite. There are a lot of hardcore AEW fans that are like, I want to support AEW, I want to support Cody, I'm going to watch this show. Now these are again young men driven by the visceralness of violence and aggression. They are now having to sit and watch conflict be resolved through mediation and baby issues. And I just don't know that that's what this audience is going to stick around for. Maybe it helps you with women. I think there's a bounce possibly for that. I think, especially if that's their blind spot right now, this can't hurt. But where the demo is now versus what I saw put out on Wednesday, it doesn't feel quite like a perfect marriage to me, but that could just be me.
I can tell you that audience of women who love reality TV and who love to watch women that they're inspired by on TV, but who know nothing about wrestling, that exists. You know, I covered Total Divas extensively back in the day. I keep talking about that because I hosted an after show for years that had all different kinds of fans coming in. About half the people watching knew nothing about wrestling. The other half were hardcore and were so into it, you know? So there is that audience out there of people who know nothing but will tune into this show. And those are the people who are women. Those are the ones that are trying to get to watch Dynamite. And if this all goes hand in hand now that we get to love Brandy Rhodes because we see what she does, and you know, Bella's aren't on right now, and all the women who used to love to watch Nikki and Brie now tune in and watch Brandy on Rhodes to the Top, they may start tuning in to Rampage and Dynamite, Nick. They just might. If they might also put Brandy in the AEW women's title picture.
Oh my God. Is that a threat?
Did it sound like one?
When she says it, and I'm like, that promise sounds more like a threat to me.
We shall see. We shall see.
Why bust your ass and become a great worker when you could just marry the boss, I guess. So anyway,
wow.
Hey, I'm just calling it. I'm just calling a spade here. There are a line of women that have worked very, very hard and are fantastic in-ring performers and have the ability to draw and create
matches. They're not Dusty Rhodes' daughter-in-law. They're not Dusty Rhodes' daughter-in-law. They don't have that name. They don't have claim to it. They're not in the family. Would you rather have Teal out there, Nick? Is that what you want? You want Teal in the AEW women's title picture?
I think that's scary, man. I think that's I think jumping to the conclusion that I would prefer Teal Piper over Brandy Rhodes is a very poor assumption. My favorite part of this was that her own, like, Cody's own family, his sister is like, we didn't want her using the Rhodes name. We were really upset about that when she started using the Rhodes name. And now she
said she was upset about it, and Brandy was very clear that she had gotten permission from Dusty. Nick, I like this conversation because all the things you're saying are exactly what I would assume that the male viewers just like you are thinking and saying to themselves when they're watching, and I'm right, and you're wrong.
There are female performers that the male viewers are connecting with, right? That are telling great stories in the ring. I have not seen Brandon be given an opportunity that seems earned to me in AEW yet. I see her given a lot of opportunities, right? I don't know. It's never connected with me and her, for sure. Okay. Never.
All right.
Yeah, never.
She might be wrong.
Well, we'll see. You know what? I will eat my hat if Brandy becomes the greatest in-ring worker and triumphant AEW women's champion. We'll see. Well, over to WWE, PWInsider.com. There's been recent talk within WWE on the documentaries. They do getting shopped around to other streaming services or broadcast networks. WWE is looking to see if outside platforms have any interest in airing their documentaries. Now, there's no word on who WWE is shopping the docs to, but A&E seems to make the most sense due to the success of the WWE biography specials earlier this year. This isn't really surprising news, right? Nick Khan is just kind of stripping all of the content that they have and selling it off. This just kind of goes in line with that, right?
Well, yeah, absolutely. And what a great opportunity to get more eyeballs on the product that are maybe then going to go and subscribe to Peacock Network, because my first instinct when I hear this is to go like, well, all their content really belongs there. That's where their fans are. That makes sense. But if there are other people watching on networks, maybe they can reel them in this way.
Yeah, I think it's it's just smart. It makes money. You're right. It gives them good exposure, good crossover. Another documentary project they're working on right now, WWE Evil, which inspired our Wink Daily mailbag question today. PWInsider.com saying that as noted back in May, WWE Peacock announced that John Cena would be executive producer and narrator for this new WWE Evil series. It's in production. A press release noted the show is an entertaining psychological expose into the minds of the most diabolical antagonists in WWE history and their impact on mainstream culture. As noted back in May, WWE and Peacock announced that John Cena would be the executive producer, blah, blah, blah. Press release noted that the show... why did I copy-paste this twice? Anyway, WWE Hall of Famer Hulk Hogan and Mick Foley, Randy Orton, the Usos, Batista, Bayley, Heyman, others have been filmed for the project. There's no word on when WWE Evil will premiere on Peacock, but sometime this Halloween season is possible. I like the idea I like the concept. I think it's a cool concept.
Yeah, this sounds good. And is this, if I'm not mistaken, this is the first time that they're touting Cena as the host and EP of something? Like, did he get a first look production deal with WWE or what? I mean, this is likely just, my point is they don't make a deal for one of these kinds of things. My guess is this is one of maybe 3 new series that we're going to hear are executive produced by John Cena.
Well, and it's a WWE Peacock project, right? So there's a good chance NBC had a hand in, locking John down to be a part of this as well. I mean, it makes a lot of sense. I think it's really interesting right now, the guys that are staying very loyal to Vince at the top end, how this is going to pay off for them in 5 years or so, right? I mean, John's like, no. He flat out said at Comic-Con, like, I'm never going to AEW. I am a WWE guy for life, right? And it'll be interesting to see how these guys that remain loyal to Vince, how they'll be rewarded or whatever here in a couple of years,
I mean, I think the factor in that you have to remember is that once they get to that point, they have so much money that nothing they do is ever going to matter. John Cena can say that he can always stay at WWE because he knows he's always going to be able to take care of his family there. And the same could be said for Roman Reigns and the few guys that I think probably have that status, but it's very few.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. Christy, thank you for the conversation today, right? Brandy, such a divisive topic. And I'm not sitting here saying anything about Brandy the person, right? Like Brandy the person, I might really enjoy having a cocktail or whatever with. But
thank you.
I've never, I mean, and I'm just being honest here, like seen anything from her in the ring or as a character that has grabbed me and made me feel like this is somebody who is doing this for any other reason than of who they are, with, period. I don't think if Brandy was not with Cody and she was just another woman out there competing and trying to earn her spot in AEW, I don't think she would have that spot. And that's not, I don't feel bad saying that, Like, right. I'm curious.
Does the fact that she's the CBO, does that give her any clout to you as far as being able to tell an in-ring story? Like, do you like that idea that she's the CBO who came out here? She's either she's protecting AEW, she's promoting someone or something. Does that work for you?
I need a genuineness with Brandy. Like, okay. I don't ever feel like we see her try to be a lot of things, right? But as a wrestler, as a performer, you have to know who you are and turn that up to 10. And I don't really get that vibe I think Brandy's trying to be a lot of things and not being any one thing. And that is why I don't think that I've connected with her as a performer. If she could take some time away and figure out who is Brandy Rhodes, is there some humility there? Is there a way to become more relatable? Then maybe. But I have not seen Brandy Rhodes come out and show a genuineness where I feel like on any level, people can connect with her, right? And there are a lot of women that have spent a lot of time out there refining their craft, understanding who they are, learning how to package them, sell themselves to the masses that have earned that chance and should be given those opportunities. And that is why I don't think if Brandy were not in the spot she is, I don't think that she would be on Tony Khan's radar.
All right. Well, I hope that she proves everybody wrong.
Yes. Well, we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong, I guess, but we'll see. So we're going to dive to the mailbag here. You know what? Hey, we're talking top heels. Where's your vote for Brandy, Christy?
This is going to be good. Oh, maybe yeah, no, you're right. I didn't vote for other/write-in.
So
wah,
wah. So we have the poll question here today based off of that WWE Evil series. It's all about heels. So my question is, who's the best heel in pro wrestling right now? Is it MJF? Is it Roman Reigns? Is it Kenny Omega? Is it somebody else? Of course, this comes to us from @WinkDaily. We're just on the precipice of 1,300 followers. That's my favorite number. Go follow us. Over 300 votes. We have 57.1% MJF, 36.6% Roman Reigns, 5% for Kenny Omega, and only 1% for somebody else. So really a blowaway here. More than 90% of the fans saying the top 2 heels here in order, MJF, Roman Reigns. What says you?
I'm not surprised to see that. I think we have to always keep in mind here, to me, the best character, heel, babyface is someone who gets mainstream attention, who brings new, fresh eyes to the product, and who gets mainstream media talking. And that is a really tight race between MJF and Roman Reigns, but Roman Reigns wins out there. That is one of the reasons why I voted for Roman. Also, just because it's not that we're finally getting what we wanted from Roman, it's that it feels with Roman like he is finally fulfilling his destiny as a heel, and like there's so much more to come, right? With MJF, it sort of feels like the dude's 25 years old. He's already had this great feud with MJF. They're just using him to put over all the new talent at AEW. Like, where are we going with this? If I was MJF, I'd be a little concerned. I think he's a smart guy, so he probably is. We just haven't seen enough from him yet. He's just too new to know if he's going to top Roman Reigns when we're looking at this again in 25 years. So I went with the safe bet on this one. The guy who everybody loves to hate, Roman Reigns.
Bro, I'm with you. I think Reigns is the best heel, and for the same reason you're like, I think he just has a bigger impact, right? Like he's resonated in a mainstream way where he's just MJF is probably technically, like presentation wise, the best traditional heel, but his imprint is just not as big as Roman. So I agree with you on that one. We have here Brandon Heck with a comment that you agreed with. Vince McMahon is the biggest heel in professional wrestling at the moment.
That was a good write-in.
That was very good. We have a write-in here from Abed99. God, of course, the man who cut the rope underneath Finn Balor's feet. We believe. I guess we'll find out tonight. At BV.
I was going to say, that's deep. There's a lot of crap going on in the world right now, but like that's deep, man.
Yeah. BV1109. Hard to argue with MJF. He's the type of heel that's such an asshole with the shit he says that people who don't normally watch wrestling would pay money to see him get his ass kicked. Yeah, man, really pushing all the buttons. That guy, I don't know if there is a line with MJF anymore. He is just going in every direction on people. You know?
No, and he's showing creativity. You know, at first, I got to say, when we first started seeing a lot of him, I kind of said, oh, he just says the heel thing. Like, it's easy to go out there, crap on the town, crap on the people, call their women ugly, blah, blah, blah. Anybody can do that. But as we're seeing him do that more and more, he is very creative. He's very intelligent, too. If you read his tweets and all that kind of stuff, he's obviously very well educated. And my guess is that he's very tuned into, the world of entertainment in Hollywood. He probably watches, like, old movies and like matches from 1960 whatever, and like he's taking inspiration from some weird thing from the past of some person we've never heard of. Like I think there's just a lot of creativity there. Like you never know what he's gonna say. With Roman, he's sassy, but like it's not gonna be that shocking.
Brian Bills saying that shooter line on Dynamite that he had to Darby Allin, that was tough. Yeah, what was up with all the gun stuff, right? Like calls Darby Allin a school shooter. Arn Anderson's like, I own a Glock. Right? God, it's a good thing this didn't happen on Fight for the Fallen. What a conflicting message that would have sent, all of these promos.
Well, is it like swears with the FCC? You mentioned a gun one time and you might as well just go full bore for the whole episode, like the South Park thing.
I guess gonna have a 21 gun salute to open up Dynamite next week. It'll just be Arn Anderson with a fifth of Jack out in the parking lot shooting his Glock off into the air 21 times.
You can already get that T-shirt, by the way, the Arn with the Glock T-shirt.
You can. I saw that. I CM Punk's tweet calling him Armed Anderson. Yeah, Daniel Price. NRA, I guess, bought some sponsorship time on AEW. Hey,
you might be onto something there. Pro wrestling and NRA seems like a likely partnership.
I can see Kenny Omega now. Daniel Bryan, if you want this AEW championship, you're going to have to pry it from my cold, dead hands. That's a little Clint Eastwood humor from for you all. No, Charlton Heston. Sorry, Charlton Heston was the original Clint Eastwood. Okay. Hey. We're done here for today. Thank you all so much for tuning in. There was literally almost nothing to talk about, but we made something of it today.
We did. We had fun today. I feel like everyone had fun with us. I love to read their comments.
Maybe that's why I got so animated, because I was like, we need to create something out of nothing here today. So I hope you all enjoyed this. We'll be back on Monday. I will be joined, of course, by Michael Weissman on Monday. On Monday, you're going to get to hear my conversation with M-Dog Matt Cross. He's with MLW right now. Of course, you may have known him as a Son of Havoc, Lucha Underground as well. I did not expect this walking into it, but it turned out to be one of my absolute favorite interviews I may have ever done. Just because there's like you get a certain sense sometimes when like something just clicks and you're having a conversation with somebody and it's like still really meaningful and newsy. And almost immediately, Matt and I just launched into this subject. Like, I saw on his Twitter over the weekend, he hung out with Darby Allin at this punk rock bowling festival. And I found out that they're both straight edge. And I just wanted to kind of pick his mind because he's worked in the business for over 20 years, how much being straight edge has helped his longevity in the business. And it really just like turned into this Pandora's box conversation about just like the evolution of the culture of professional wrestling from like when he started, in 2000 and he was straight edge. Everyone's like, you're probably going to get weeded out of this business. Nobody doesn't drink to the point.
Weed it out, literally.
Yeah, right. To the point now where it's like, dude, like there's being straight edge is like not uncommon in a wrestling locker room now, and just getting to watch that progression firsthand. There's a lot in this. It's a very, very good conversation. So anyway, Come back Monday. Me, Michael Weissman, M-Dog Matt Cross. If you like the Wrestling Inc. Daily, supportwrestlinginc.com. We're on all your socials, and the Wrestling Inc. podcast, of course, goes live at night after all the big shows, including tonight after SmackDown. And one more time, if you're in Chicago this Monday night, replay Lincoln Park, free to come out. We're going to have a WWE Draft Party. They're sending me a ton of WWE merchandise to give away for free. So come out, drink a draft, watch the draft, get some swag. We're going to have a blast. Christy, anything you want to plug, put over here to wrap up the show today?
Yes, I would love it if my fellow reality TV fans out there check out my YouTube channel, Christy Reports. And, we go live with Eric Bischoff on the 83 Weeks channel every Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific. Come and ask him all your questions and hit me up anytime at Christy Reports. Let's keep the conversation going. We really touched on some hot topics today. So I want to know what you guys have to say.
And of course, and you're more than welcome to always tell me how very, very wrong I am. I certainly had some opinions today, particularly about Brandy. And again, I'm sure she's a wonderful person. We've only briefly had encounters in the scrums. She looked at me very angry when I asked her about Mel one time. I guess this is probably not a topic anywhere anytime soon. So maybe my position. Maybe my position will evolve. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. Anyway, I am at Nick _Hausman on Twitter. Thank you very much for tuning in. I will talk to you on Monday. And remember, if you winked,